All right, in this video, I want to walk you through one of the components in the organizer's checklist I recently shared. So this is the checklist. You can scan this QR code to get access to the checklist. And today I want to talk about this point here. Book at least one core band, core sets of teachers, and the lead DJ. But before we get there, why should you even listen to me? Together with my team, we've organized over 96 different workshops since 2006. And it's just a fancy way for me to say that we've survived a lot of mistakes, and I want to share what we've learned with you so that you make your own mistakes. Some of the events you might recognize is Cirque du Solo in Berlin, Swing Summit in south of France, and Chase Festival in Heidelberg, where we had over 1,200 people from all around the world. My motivation for this is that I'm hoping these videos help me build a relationship with you so I get to know you and your events better and use that knowledge to further improve the software we're creating for event organizers. I made a separate video about that software, and you can just scan this QR code, or I've tried to put a link somewhere so you can get to that one so we can move on to the topic of today. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is whether you should make a choice of drip releasing or having all your talents in one go for your festival and event. The benefit of having all your talents in one go is, of course, that you can make a big splash. We did that, for example, with Chase Festival, where we could even do this fun thing where we put all the teachers on the flyers and made this game where participants or anybody picking up the flyer could figuring out who is teaching with who. I have found that hilarious, and a lot of people brought their flyers to me and say, hey, did I get it right? There's also, of course, from the talent's perspective, the benefit of being on the flyer. They get some recognition, so it's helping them be promoted as well. So it's a win-win situation for both of you. And then you can also batch your work more. You can handle all the conversations more or less at one go, all the flight booking, all the transportation and accommodation. So you don't have to continuously come back to it. That sort of interruption is quite annoying at some point. There's a lot of benefit also doing the drip release approach. Some of it has to do with risk management, which I'll get into in a moment, but there's also this marketing aspect to it where you have something to share on social media on a regular basis. Another aspect of the drip release is, again, from the artist perspective, you typically then would give each of them the spotlight for a moment. So again, it helps them as well with getting recognition on the industry or in the market. Then I want to talk a little bit about your brand, the event name, and what people can expect from it. Starting point of the whole thing, you come up with a name and you want to attract people to it. So your brand don't have a recognition yet. There's no trust, there's no energy and buzz built around it. How do you start then? There's a risk component that I think is very important to understand, because sometimes we look around and we look at all these different events that exist and they have huge lineups, they are beautiful venues, and it seems like everybody's flocking to them. So you'll think, well, I just do the same thing and it will be all okay. Unfortunately, many people have done this and failed rather miserably and actually gone bankrupt and created a lot of frustration and anger in the community, because people buy the flight ticket and hotels and artists expecting that revenue to come as well. It is a situation we want to avoid at all costs. If this is your first time, you should start with just the amount of commitments that you think you can handle in terms of risk. If only 30% of the number of registrations come in that you expect, will you still survive or not? If 50% comes, 60%, 70%, where is the break-even point? And I recommend to find a break-even point that is slightly under 50%, maybe even 40% in your first year. Meaning, if you don't get the registration numbers that you need and the revenues that you need, can you pay out of your own pocket and be okay with it? The more you are uncomfortable paying out of your pocket, the bigger risk you take, but never exceed that amount of risk. If you already have a brand, this is your 6th, 7th edition, you can actually just choose either way. You can choose to have your whole lineup and make a splash like we did at Chase Festival, or you can start small, just get the handful of talents that you want to commit to, and the registrations will flow anyway because people trust the event, and you can sort of adjust with who you bring on and how many talents you add based on how things are looking, who seems to be more attractive at the moment, or what kind of messages you want to send. About the messages, your talent lineup tells a story. A simple version of the story that it tells is whether or not if it's a local event or an international event, meaning are most of the participants going to be from the local community, or will most of the participants come from all around the world? But also the sort of topics to expect. If the choice of talents indicate that there's going to be a specific topic or a culture or message driven event, or will it be like a buffet or smorgasbord, so to say, where the goal is for the participants to get a feel for what's going on in the community as a whole, get a little bit of taste of talents from different countries and different perspectives. What's equally important, and this sometimes goes underrated, is are you excited about the people you're bringing? You'll have to work with these people. You have to deal with a lot of issues. You're taking on a lot of risk. Is it worth it for you personally? Or are you also willing to just take the sacrifice and deal with whatever is needed in order to bring the person to your community? There's no right and wrong answer here. This is just like, what are you willing to do? All right, this was the comments I wanted to share about this point. I'll continue making these videos. If you again want to get to this template, just scan this QR code and you get to this free template. Please subscribe, like, share, but most importantly, connect with me so I get to know you and your events better. This way I get to learn from you as well. All right, have a good one, my friend.